Lionsgate has a new trio of catalog Blu-ray releases out, and while I generally really enjoy Lionsgate's catalog Blu-ray releases, this is not the strongest selection of movies we've ever seen. By and large, though, it's not the worst selection of catalog movies we've seen either. Probably the most prominent release in the collection is The Running Man, but with Arnold Schwarzenegger. And when I say collection, I just mean that they are released on the same date. They're not in like a box set or anything like that. All of these titles are available separately. The Running Man is kind of a fun, goofy science fiction Arnold Schwarzenegger flick. Yes, it's based on a Stephen King story, but much of what was in the original story is lost here in favor of big explosions and cheesy one-liners. It's not a great film, but I have to admit I had more fun rewatching it than I expected to. Next up, we have Hard Rain, starring Morgan Freeman and Christian Slater. And this is one of those movies that I had a soft spot for. Is it a great film? No. Is it fun to watch? Absolutely. Slater, Freeman, you've got Minnie Driver in there, Ed Asner, Betty White doing that kind of Betty White role that she does so well, Randy Quaid in there. It's kind of your typical one guy against the group of criminals, and in this case happens to be taking place in the middle of a flood. So it's a kind of a fun sort of action-adventure film that is one of the Christian Slater's more interesting roles. It's certainly not a great film, and I can't say you have to run right out and buy it on Blu-ray, but I'm sure there are people out there like me who have a soft spot for this film, and for those of you will be happy to see it on Blu-ray. And then finally we have Wesley Snipes in Drop Zone, taking crime to new heights. Yes, folks, it is a skydiving crime movie. No, it is not Point Break, nor is it even anywhere remotely as good as Point Break. It's not completely terrible, but Wesley Snipes' commercial window certainly seems to have passed, so this one looks like it's really meant for the diehard fans out there. And even of the diehard Wesley Snipes fans out there, I doubt many of them consider Drop Zone among his best work. But there is a certain sense of kind of 90s action film nostalgia that comes with watching a movie like this, so it's not a complete waste of time either. Now, all three of these films are really kind of, 10 to 20 years old, and so what you're going to get are your pretty typical Blu-ray upgrades. And what I mean by that is you get a slight improvement over the DVDs. You get a little bit better image quality, slightly more vibrant colors, a touch of grain is present in most of the films. What you're not going to get is a revolutionary new viewing of the film. They look a little better. They're great for if you don't already own the DVDs, but if you do, I can't say that's necessarily worth the upgrades. In terms of the soundtracks, you also get a 7.1 DTS HD master audio mix on both The Running Man and Hard Rain, and those are always pretty good. Lionsgate does a nice job with them, even if they don't quite feel like full 7.1 surround tracks. I think the 7.1 works better on newer movies. Here it seems as if really 5.1 would have done the trick, which clearly is what you get on Drop Zone, which only includes a 5.1 DTS HD master audio surround track. Special features transferred over directly from the DVDs, which that means is Drop Zone and Hard Rain give you exactly this, a theatrical trailer, and nothing else. The Running Man brings over the specials from the Running Man Special Edition DVD that came out a few years back. So what you get are an audio commentary by director Paul Michael Glaser, and yes, that is Starsky, or is it Hutch? I can never remember, from the original Starsky and Hutch show. And he's with producer Tim Zinnemann. Then there's another commentary by the executive producer Rob Cohen, who's also sometimes director. And then there's a featurette called Game Theory and a featurette called Lockdown on Main Street, as well as a theatrical trailer. Pretty much Arnold Schwarzenegger is MIA from most of these extras, so it's not really a case of any really great extra features, but it is better than just a theatrical trailer. So, for those of you who are nostalgic for the mid to late 80s to mid to late 90s, this is a perfect chance to go back and watch some of those films in high definition, but none of these are really going to stand out as must-owns, in my opinion.